Hi everyone, today we're going to go over how to create the document you see here on the screen, which will be our example or our practice for interior design. So the first thing we need to do, or you should have done already, is save 9 images to your computer. I'm going to walk you through how to create folders if you haven't done that yet. So down here at the bottom of your menu, you should have a little File Explorer. If not, you can go to your search bar here and type in File Explorer. Click on that, and then we're going to navigate to this PC. We're going to go to Documents, and I have a lot of documents, but right up here at the top you should see a little folder. When you hover over it, says New Folder, so click on that, and we are going to name this Interior Design 1. You can designate an hour for this if you'd like. Double click on it, and we're going to add an additional folder inside of Interior Design 1, and we're going to name this Practice. Within Practice, this is where we are going to keep all of our images. I'm going to quickly move mine over so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to copy these, right click, copy, Documents, Interior Design 1 Hour 1, Practice, and I'm going to paste them. Okay, so now I have my files where I need them for this assignment. I'm going to minimize this File Explorer, not X out of it because we'll need it later. And if you don't have InDesign open already, you're going to want to go to your Start menu and then open up Adobe InDesign. It might take a second for it to open. Okay, and when it does, you are going to create a new file. So File, New, Document, or you can click Create New on your screen. When you do this, the first thing you need to do over on the right, change the units to inches. And you should see 8.5 by 11. Make sure under facing pages, if this is checked, uncheck it and click Create. And now we have our document. A few things about InDesign. This tool right here that I'm on right now is called your selection tool. If you ever want to move anything around on your page, you have to be on the selection tool. Otherwise, you're creating more shapes, text boxes, whatever. And so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create these 9 frames that you see right here for our images. So I'm going to go to my frame tool on the left, and these pink purple lines right here, these are our margins. We're always going to stay within the margins unless I tell you otherwise. So starting in the top left, we're going to click and drag all the way over about 3/4 of the way down on the page. So I'm right about here, all the way over to the right side. Just like this. Now, if I let go, it's only going to create 1 frame. That's not what we want. So I'm going to undo that. The shortcut to undo is Control Z, or Edit Undo from your menu up here. So again, starting up here, clicking and dragging, so I hit this right margin over here on the right, and then about 3/4 of the way down. Before I let go, I'm going to press my right arrow key twice and my up arrow key twice on my keyboard, and now I've created these 9 frames. Now if yours looks like this, that's not what we want. Drag them down a little bit more before you let go so we have things or shapes that look like squares. Okay, so there's that, and now we're going to create our frames for our colors down here at the bottom. So same idea, we're going to start right about here. We're going to start in the bottom left corner, drag up a little bit, and then all the way over to the right side. So now we have a rectangle. And before I let go, I'm going to press my right arrow key until I see 5 frames or 5 boxes, because that's what the rubric tells us we need. I'm going to make these a little bit shorter because I want them to be more square shape. And just like that, I'm good to go. Now if I want to move these around, I can't click because I'm just going to create more shapes. So I have to go back up to my selection tool. I'm going to click anywhere on my page besides on a frame, and now nothing is selected. Now I'm ready to add in my images into the page. So I'm going to go to my File Explorer down here at the bottom. Remember, if you closed out of yours, you can always go to your search bar and then search for it. So I'm going to File Explorer. I'm going to move this over just a little bit, and I'm going to click on an image and drag it and drop it in a frame. Simple as that. Clicking and dragging and dropping. That's all I'm doing here until I have all 9 images in my frames. Just like this. And last one. Okay, So now I have all my images. Sometimes when you put an image in here, it might look like this, where it's very zoomed in. We obviously want to see all of our image. So you can click on that frame, right click, fitting, fill frame proportionally. And now we can see our frame, our full image. You have to remember that these are like picture frames. So if I click and move these around, it's moving the whole frame on the wall or the page. If I want to move the image within the frame, what I can do is I can double click. I can double click and you can see a very faint orange border that shows up. That's your image within the frame. Now I can use my arrow keys to move the image up or down. So now I can see more of my buildings and less of the sky. Same thing with this. Double click. I can move this down or I can move this up so I see more of the car. Something I don't want to see right here, I don't know if you can notice, I'm going to press W on my keyboard so I get rid of all my frames so we only see the images. This one you can barely tell is not a square, it's a rectangle. So we need to fix that. So I'm going to try first right click, fitting, fill frame proportionally. That didn't work. So what I need to do is double click on my frame. Now I have this orange border here. To make my image bigger, not the frame, the image, I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard and stretch from the corner. Holding Shift allows this to stay proportional so that it looks like this. Okay? What some people do is they don't hold Shift, and so what happens is they end up with an image that looks like that. That doesn't look normal. That is what we call stretched. So you want to make sure that you always hold Shift, drag out the corners, and now we have filled in our entire frame. So that's adding images into frames. Adding color down here, we use what we call the eyedropper tool, which should be over here on the left. If your eyedropper tool looks like this, that means it's the color theme tool. That's not what we want. So you want to right click on that and choose eyedropper tool. I'm going to go back up to my selection tool and select one of my frames. From there, I'm now going to select an eyedropper tool. And in case you forgot what we're doing, we are filling in these frames with colors that are within our images already so we can get a color scheme. Okay, so I'm going to choose my first color. So maybe I want this pink right here. Then maybe I want another pink. So I'm back on my selection tool. I selected the next frame, eyedropper tool, choosing the next color. Selection tool, selecting the frame, eyedropper tool, and now choosing the next color. So maybe I want this yellow, peachy color. Selection tool, select the frame, eyedropper tool, select the color. Selection tool, select the frame, eyedropper tool, and selecting the color. So let's say I'm fine with that. Sometimes what might happen is you might get a frame that does this instead. Okay. It does this. It gives you an outline of that shape. We do not want that. Okay, so how you get rid of that, you can click on your frame with your selection tool, and over here on the left, you should see this little arrow, or there are two arrows. And if you hover over it, it says swap, fill, and stroke. So I'm going to click on that, and now it has filled in my shape. The last thing we need to do is add text to the middle, just like here. In the rubric, it's going to tell you that your text in the middle, or your title, should be your name. So we're going to go to your type tool, and I'm going to start again over here on my left margin, which is that pink line, drag all the way over to the right side, and then down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to type in my name. Over here on the side, a lot of the times in the properties menu, which is this guy here, you can change the font, or up here you can change it as well if you have this window open. If the properties menu doesn't show, you can go to window and then check properties. So I'm going to use, I like this font here called Luna, but you can use whatever you would like. I'm also going to center it, okay? And I'm going to make the font larger. Okay, from here, if you notice, the text is kind of hovering towards the top of the text box, and I want it to hover in the middle. So I'm going to highlight this and do Control B as in boy on my keyboard, and it's going to pop up text frame options. You're going to change the vertical justification, align it to the center, and click OK. Now it's hovering in the center. Now what I need you to do, you go back to your selection tool, click on the side of the page, so outside the margin, so nothing's selected. Now we're going to press W on our keyboard, like if we were going to type out the word watermelon. We're just going to press W, and that's going to get rid of all of those annoying frame outlines, margins, and so on, so we can see what this looks like when we print it. Now, let's say my text was up here. This is an issue because we have all this space right here, so we need to fix that. So I can click on this, use my arrow key, and bring this down. So now I have an even amount of blank space in between my bottom of my images and the top of my color frames. Now I'm completely ready to save this and export it. So I'm going to do File, Save As, because I haven't saved this yet. Sometimes it's important to save as you go, so make sure maybe save as the document first, then just click Save as you go so you don't lose any progress. New Save As. We are saving this into our practice folder. So that's again in this PC, Documents, Interior Design 1, and then Practice. The rubric tells us to name this, I think, page. What does it tell us to name it? Let me check before I tell you the wrong thing. Sorry guys, it tells us to name it example. Okay, we're gonna name it example. But again, this is in your rubric, so make sure you read that, and we're gonna click save. Now we need to export it so we are ready to then upload it to the gradebook for grading. So we're going to do File, not Save As this time. We're going to do File, Export. When I do this, it looks like I'm saving it again. Make sure you're in the Practice folder. It's named Example, and then we're going to click Save. Then we're going to click Export again. And when this happens, it should open up on your screen. If it doesn't, that's fine, but it should be saved to your computer. Now you are completely done, and you are ready to open this or upload it to Student View within the gradebook for our class, along with a copy of the rubric. Please email Ms. Schwartz if you have any questions. And feel free to watch this video as many times as you need. Bye!